Now then, welcome to the channel, Lake District and the Central Fells. Today we're parked just down there at Dobgill Car Park and we're going Birkett Bashing. There is one Wainwright on the route, which is Ullscarf, but our attention has switched from Wainwrights to Birketts and Outlying Fells, because last time we were out Charlie finished the Wainwrights. There's no film of that. That didn't go to plan. I'll tell you about that later. So anyway, let's have a quick look at today's route. Well, it doesn't look like many people come this way. It's a bit of a bracken fest. Glad I didn't put my shorts on. That's a nice view behind me over Thirlmere. Looking up to the Dodds. It looks like this path winds its way between the two crags up here. Nobody on it, which I'm not surprised at. We do pick some routes, don't we? Right, upwards. So through that gate, not very clear if there was a path going anywhere really, so we've just dropped down to pick up this gully, and it does look like there's a bit of a path going through this gully. So I was going to show you our first objective, but it's just disappeared out of view. There it is. I'll put it on the other camera. So that's our first goal there, that beacon on Wythburn Fell. So I've not got that much further to go to get up there. Right, and the bracken seems to have eased a bit momentarily. Right, onwards. So here we are at the beacon on Wythburn Fell. It's not any kind of hill that I'm aware of. It's certainly not a Birkett or a Wainwright right like that, but that's a great view down Thirlmere, isn't it? You can see right over to Blencathra, and then there's the Dodds and Helvellyn over there, and then if we come right round, that's I think is that Steel Fell? Oh, it's green up edge, I think that there, isn't it? The actual top of Steel Fell might be the other side of it. You know, I'll just put it onto the camera and you can see pretty much the rest of our route. So we're going up this ridge straight in front of us, and pretty much over there, I think that might be Ullscarf that you can just see on the skyline there. Then we go right over to that one and then down the other side of the plantation. I can't remember all the names. Right, so onwards we go. That's a stunning view, looking back down the Wythburn Valley. Oh, brilliant, isn't it? Right, onwards up here for us. Still nobody around, which is great. There is actually the odd spit or two in the air. I don't think it'll come too much. There's no rain forecast, but we all know what forecasts are like. We drove through a couple of heavy showers on the way here and they weren't forecast. The visibility forecast for today was very good, becoming excellent. So hopefully that'll be right. Right, upwards we go. So that's our first Birkett of the day done. Wythburn Fell, and now we drop down a bit before just going up the ridge in front of us, I think, and it is starting to spit a bit now. Looking at the sky, I think it should soon pass. So. Famous last words, eh? Right, on we go. So I'm not actually sure if the summit of Wythburn Fell was that first one we said, or that cairn that we've just passed there. Anyway, we've been to them both, and Charlie's had his photo taken on them both anyway, so we've done it, whichever one it is. Now, the route that I'd originally plotted was to head straight over this depression here, but given we're in the central fells, oh hang on a minute, I think we've come across a duck family. So yeah, my original route was to sort of cut straight over there, looking at that peak, the other side of this little pond. But I don't know. It'll be wet, I would imagine. So we might just stick to this ridge, which is also slightly on the damp side. Right, on we go. So we stopped for coffee and a chew back there, and we've just come over Castle Fell. I don't know if we had to, I don't know if it's anything of significance. And now we're in a bit of a bog fest. I don't know if you've noticed, as we've been ambling along, these yellow flowers called Bog Asphodel. They're really nice, but you can pretty much guarantee there's a potential for wet feet when you see them. Hang on, I'll just show you some here. So there, that's Bog Asphodel. They're about coming to an end now. Yeah, and an indicator of wet ground, hence the name. Right, we're onwards and upwards up here. Yeah. So we've just passed through that little area of Tarnlets and boggy ground. I tell you what, it's got its ups and downs as this walk, but we're not far from the high point of the day over there, which is Ullscarf. I've not been up this way to Ullscarf before, so I don't know how boggy it's going to be. I can't even remember how boggy the top of Ullscarf. I think it is quite boggy, and given the amount of rain we've had this summer. It'll be interesting to see the temperature and rainfall figures for July in the UK, I think. View over there down to Windermere, and behind me there's now then, what's down there? I can't remember the first, but you come up to, there's Great Rig and Seat Sandal in front here, then Fairfield, Coffer Pike, and you can see Dollywagon Pike, Nethermost Pike and Helvellyn, and then further around to the Dodds around that way, and over that way you can see Weatherlam, Old Man's in Clag, and you just make out the sea, the Morecambe Bay over that way. Right, on we go to Ullscarf. So that's the high point of the day done, and our only Wainwright, Ullscarf. Look at that view over to the Scar Fell range. Absolutely stunning. In fact, the views all around, a bit cloudy over there over northwestern fells. It's absolutely stunning. It's beautiful. There's actually some people behind us there as well. So we're going to head on over here towards our next Birkett, which I can't remember its name, and we'll see if we can get somewhere sheltered for lunch over there, I think. So we'll see you over there. So that's another Birkett ticked off. That's High Saddle, and now we go down to go back up again onto Low Saddle, which is Coldbarrow Fell, and the views are still great. It's starting to cloud in over the big boys over there. That'll be over, what would it be, Pillar kind of direction, I think. We've still got good views up to the northern fells over there, and then the Dodds, Helvellyn and Nethermost and Dollywagon. And I think when we drop down to this tarn, I've been down to this tarn before, I think it's going to start getting wet down there. I mentioned it in another video. Me and my last dog Floss, we'd come up, we were staying in Rosswaite, and it was an absolutely dreadful day, absolutely awful. Chucked it down most of the day. I was knee deep in bogs in places, and when we got back I noticed she had a kink in her tail, and googling showed it to be what's called, I can't remember its technical term, but swimmer's tail or limber tail, and they get it if they've been wet and cold for an extended period of time. Oh, she was absolutely hating it. I think I've got a picture of her in a coat towards End at Walk. I'll stick it up there or there if I can find it. We were both absolutely drenched. Right, this wind's picking up a bit now, and it's getting a bit chilly. I mean, we're at the back end of July, and when I looked at the mountain forecast yesterday, the wind chill on the top of Ullscarf was 6 degrees at end of July. Right, so up to Coldbarrow Fell, then we'll see if we can get somewhere out of the wind for our lunch, because I'm ready for it. and I know Charlie is as well, and it's 12:15, so it's about lunchtime. Right, we'll see you over there. So that's Low Saddle, Coldbarrow Fell done, and I mean look at the views here. The Central Fells may be a bog fest, but they know how to do views, don't they? Look at that. The big boys over there clagging in a bit. I'll just spin you around that way again. You can see over Wainwright, Derwentwater and Bassenthwaite. Down here is, I think that's, is it another Bleatarn, that one? Can't rightly remember, but we're heading off down there. I can't remember if there's one or two more Birketts to do over there. But yeah, it's all downhill from here, apart from the bits that are up. Right, we're going to drop down here, out of the wind, and have our lunch. And I'll tell you about the disaster, well not disaster, but why Charlie's 214th Wainwright didn't get filmed. So we'll get down here and we'll have our lunch. So while we're having lunch, I'll just tell you why you didn't see Charlie completing the Wainwrights. Last week we were booked into Great Langdale campsite for 3 nights, and the intention on the middle night was to wild camp at Lingmore Tarn and tick off Lingmore Fell for Charlie, which was his last Wainwright. However, at night before we were supposed to be going out camping, we went for a little bit of a walk to recce the routes. I've not been around that particular area before. And as you can see here, we were going to go along the permissive path to Side House, and then from Side House pick the Cumbria way up to this point here. And then on the map there's this black dotted line which indicates that there is a path on the ground. It's not necessarily a right of way, but there's a path on the ground. So I'll zoom in a bit here and highlighted it. So we were going to follow that up and then make our way to Lingmore Tarn. But when we got there, that just turned out to be a complete bracken fest. So there was absolutely no way we could get there. There was no signs of a path, and it was chest high bracken. So plans had to be altered. So instead, what we did the following morning was we were camped here, look, at the Great Langdale campsite, and we walked up to Side Pike, and then from Side Pike we went along the ridge. We saw this Hercules, which Charlie wasn't happy about at all. He doesn't like aeroplanes. And then up onto Lingmore Fell, and that was Charlie's 214th Wainwright. And then from Lingmore Fell we made our way down to Bleatarn House, and along a short road section over to Bleatarn. Charlie had fun chasing stones and swimming after sticks. And then we continued round the permissive path round Bleatarn, back to the cattle grid, and retraced our steps back down to the campsite. So our plans got altered, and I wasn't entirely sure which way we were going to be going. So that's why I didn't do any filming. We kind of just made it up as we went along. And if you're going that way, be careful on Side Pike. Going up that way, I thought it was a bit like the terraces on Eagle Crag, but coming down you've got to be really careful because it is just a sheer drop coming down, so you've got to be really careful where you're going, especially in bad weather. And then you come to the fat man's agony, is it called, the squeeze at the bottom of Side Pike. Yeah, it was a good route. We actually had great views. I wish I had filmed it, to be honest, but no. So that's why unfortunately you didn't get to see Charlie completing the Wainwrights. Right, I'm going to finish my lunch. So we've just descended pathlessly off Coldbarrow Fell, which you can see behind me there, and we've picked up something of a faint trod. I think it might get a bit squelchy down here. I was going to say earlier, and I thought I won't, some tempting fate when we were around Ullscarf, that how unboggy it was, really, considering all the rain we've had. But I don't know, we'll see what it's like down here. But still got the place to ourselves. Gorgeous. Still got the views, although we are dropping down a bit. Still see over that way, look towards Ascent and the northern fells. Right, we're going to continue on this faint trod. Well, that faint trod came and went, got a bit boggy in places. That little bit there, I don't know if it shows up on here, that yellow, like just a carpet of Bog Asphodel. Beautiful. It'd have been great at the height of its season, like I say. Oh, there's more carpets of it up here, which we might have to go through, which spells wet feet. Right, I think we come up to there's a gate in the fence here. There's a right of way crosses here. I think we go straight up to our next Birkett. Right, on we go. So that's Bleatarn Crags done. I can't remember if this is a Birkett or not. I've done it before. That awful wet day that I said I came up with floss. We came up here, and then all that down there, that was an utter nightmare, was that down there. You can see over to Wythburn Fell that way, and looking over St John's up to Blencathra, Dale Head, and the Dodds, then right round to Helvellyn and Nethermost Pike and Dollywagon Pike. Right, so we head off down there now. Again, I'm not sure where to, but we'll get down there and see what we come across. We'll see you down there. So this section is very much off-piste. It's rough going. We're still surrounded by this Bog Asphodel, and it's got quite a heady scent to it as well. But yeah, it's a bit rough going, is this now? But we've still got stunning views. Oh, a little orchid. Absolutely amazing. The views up there to Helvellyn and Nethermost Pike, Dollywagon Pike. Yeah, it's fantastic. So we dropped down to this plantation down here, I think. And, you know, I can't remember if we've got any more Birketts to do or not now, or whether we've done them. We'll carry on plodding our way down here. So we're back on something of a faint trod now, which is good. And this here in front of us is, hang on, I've forgotten, I've just looked and I've forgotten already, is Brown Rig, and I am confidently predicting that that is our final Birkett of the day. He says confidently, being a trained navigator. Right, so on we go up to Brown Rig. So that's it, Brown Rig, our final Birkett, if indeed it is a Birkett. I'm not quite sure. I'm assuming it is, that's why I've brought us up here. It would have been a bit pointless if it wasn't. And look at the views. Bassenthwaite there, and not Bassenthwaite, Thirlmere, Skidder, where we've just been, behind us. Oh, in fact, that's pretty much our entire route up there, all the way around. And then another view of Fairfield and Dollywagon, Nethermost and all that. Right, now I've just noticed there's a stile and a gate down there leading into the plantation. I was going to skirt all the way around it. We'll have a look, see what's down there. Right, downwards. Well, I've just come through this gate and into this plantation. There's no path going through there, so I'm going to stick to my original plan of skirting around the outside, around the perimeter of the... Come on, Charlie, this way. This way, Charlie. Get your bum out of the way. And there is a bit of a trod coming this way, which was the original route I'd planned to just skirt around the perimeter at plantation. So we're gonna stick with this. Right, that trod didn't last long. Oh, yeah. Oh dear, that hurt me back. Right, let's see if we can get down here in one piece. Well, we're down on this forest track. As a styley, we go straight over that stile and down there through bracken. That bit there, that was the worst part of the walk. I wouldn't recommend that. Right side at plantation, steep and loose, long bracken. Yeah, that was a bit of a nightmare coming down there. No other way. So we popped into plantation through that gate to have a look, but there was no signs of a path or anything going down there. So yeah, if you're coming down there, just be careful. We actually crossed the stream and came down on this side, but I wouldn't. If you are coming down that way, stick to the fence. At least you've got something to hold on to coming down there. Right, so over this little stile for us and down through some more bracken. We'll see you down there. Well, we're back down on the road, and what an absolute nightmare that was coming down there. Shocking. I mean, shoulder high bracken. Is that where we should have come out? That's where we should have come out. Look at that gate post there. I ended up having to sling Charlie over a blooming fence down there. That's a nightmare. That has actually spoilt the walk. Let's have a look on the road. Yeah, spoilt it is that we were having a brilliant time until, well, we got to that plantation, went through that gate to see if there was a track or a path through the plantation. There was nothing. And then coming down the perimeter of that plantation, then after that, that nice new made style, and then onto a path like that. Absolutely ridiculous. So from it being a great walk up until then, I wouldn't recommend it just for that last section there, unless now there's a forest track going up there, unless there is a track or a path coming down through the plantation that we've not seen. There was just loads of fallen trees and it just looked awful. Mind you, that was awful the way we came down. So anyway, apart from that, we've enjoyed it. Hang on, Charlie, come here, come here, come here. Good boy. So yeah, actually, hang on, Charlie, come here. I don't know if you can come that way through the plantation. Not sure. Anyway, apart from that last section, it's been alright. Lots of pathless sections, but wasn't as boggy as I was expecting really, so that was good. Just checking time, we've paid in car park until 2:20. It's 28 minutes past now. Right, so hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please do the usual, liking, subscribing, ringing the notification bell, all that malarkey. And hopefully see you on the next one. Tra!